Okay, good morning. Good morning. So my name is Kristen Collette-Schmidt, and I'm an Associate Teaching Professor of Finance and the Associate Dean for Innovation and Inclusion here at the Mendoza College of Business. And welcome to our second annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Grow the Good in Business Case Competition. So the University of Notre Dame and the Mendoza College of Business are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And for Mendoza, these principles are foundational to our imperative to grow the good in business. And then, of course, for me personally, as a professor and a senior leader in this college, our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion is also a call to action. I believe I am called to use my work of educating future business leaders to guarantee that diverse voices, experiences, and backgrounds are valued, respected, and nurtured. It is in this spirit that I'm excited to officially kick off our second year of this case competition. So, yeah, thank you. The competition joins the forces of current and future business leaders, the latter being both our undergraduate and graduate students in Mendoza who are committed to equity and inclusion in the workplace. We hope to challenge our students to solve a business case focused on timely DE&I issues while engaging with companies willing to share their real-world challenges and expectations and striving for a more equitable society. Further, through the competition, we strive to provide an educational experience that reflects the broader society, as well as the challenges and expectations of real businesses, so that students are better equipped to enter the real world as leaders after graduation. So kudos to our Mendoza students for being here today, for engaging in this opportunity. By doing so, you are signaling your own commitment to using your business acumen you've developed while here in Mendoza in an important and meaningful way. And you are doing your part in creating an inclusive environment that promotes mutual advancement. Now I have the pleasure of introducing to you Jim Cunningham, the Assistant Director of Experiential Learning in the Mendoza College of Business. Jim has been a tremendous partner in our second year of this competition, and he will discuss the role of business in DE&I and how it connects to this year's case.
Thanks very much to Associate Dean Collette-Schmidt for her kind introduction and for her passion, vision, and leadership in bringing this case competition to fruition. The challenges and opportunities associated with pursuing more diverse, equitable, and inclusive companies and communities are vast and themselves diverse. We see in both the scholarly research and in corporate practice that these considerations encompass issues such as pay equity, discrimination, a spirit of belonging, representation in leadership, individual biases, and systemic inequities. Our businesses play one of the most critical roles in working toward meaningful progress. Diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplaces and communities flourish. They lift up and are enriched by all of their members. Pursuing equity is good for all of us. We all have a responsibility for pursuing just workplaces and communities, and we all have something to contribute. For the 2023 DEI Grow the Good in Business case competition, the case addresses one aspect related to the much broader topic of DEI. DEI. Should have brought my glasses. Students participating in the case competition will be tasked with examining access to and quality of financial services in underserved markets and proposing a business solution to financial exclusion. Mendoza recognizes that DEI involves meaningful steps towards implementing ideas for change in partnership with stakeholders. To that end, the community-based research the students generate through the competition will be made available to case competition sponsors for their possible use. We will hear more on the case shortly. We recognize the opportunities and challenges in this space are complex and ongoing. As a result, this year's case competition is one of many ways we look forward to engaging around the issues of equity and inclusion through our courses and programming in the future. With that, I will turn it back to Associate Dean Colette Schmidt.
So as Jim said, businesses play a critical and important role in working towards meaningful progress in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So whether it be providing the theme for our 2023 case, prize money, or thoughtful mentorship to students, we are incredibly fortunate to partner with various corporate sponsors in this case competition. And now it is time to meet those sponsors and hear more about their own diversity and inclusion efforts and impact of those efforts. I'm now going to turn the floor over to several of our Mendoza students who have also demonstrated significant leadership this year in making their own campus more inclusive.
Good morning. My name is Jason Ladden, and I'm an undergraduate finance major at the class of 2024. And today I'll be introducing Ron Zinnerman, VP, Head of Culture, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Kemper. The Kemper family of companies is one of the nation's leading specialized insurers. With approximately $13 billion in assets, Kemper is improving the world of insurance by providing affordable and easy-to-use personalized solutions to individuals, families, and businesses through its auto, personal insurance, and life brands. Let's now hear about Kemper's efforts in the DEI space.
Good morning. I realize in the bio that I can now scratch out a part of my half-an-hour dissertation. It's a little bit of a joke there. Well, I'm honored to be here. I'm glad that we were able to dry out and the sun is shining. So I just want to start off by saying good morning and thank you to Kristen and Jim and everyone responsible for this wonderful opportunity to partner. On behalf of Notre Dame alum, Kemper's President, CEO, and Chairman Joe Locker, and the rest of our team members, we are honored to serve as platinum sponsor for the Mendoza College of Business DE&I Grow the Good in Business Case competition. The competition allows us to support the university's efforts to provide its students with opportunities to understand the impact of diversity in business in our society. The mission of the competition and our commitment to empowering underserved markets by providing affordable insurance are aligned. We serve over 5.3 million policies and are represented by 29,000 agents and brokers, and have approximately 9,500 employees dedicated to meeting the ever-changing needs of our customers. One of our core businesses, our Kemper Life business, primarily serves low to low mid-income African Americans. This market has a cultural affinity towards low face value life insurance policies to be used primarily for burial expenses. It's a cultural need that is a requirement for this community to ensure a dignified burial. Elders purchase policies not only for themselves, but for their children and grandchildren to leave a legacy of respect and dignity for their families. Policyholders value the relationship they have with their agent and the in-home service that is provided. The agent is essentially the brand. Insurance carrier brand has nearly become agnostic. Most insurance companies overlook this market to focus on mid to high income individuals who can self-fund their burial and are looking for more sophisticated investment for their life insurance, such as annuities. They don't see an opportunity with this market due to the lower income asset levels. Hence, this market continues to be underserved despite their strong product need, high word-of-mouth referral levels, and high policy retention, but not enough companies to meet their needs. In 2020, I personally joined Kemper Insurance as we launched our DE&I Center of Excellence. We wanted to formally provide structure around existing initiatives and to create and foster an inclusive workplace culture where all colleagues believe they can own their career while contributing to the success of the company. We do this by striving to reach our fullest potential by attracting, developing, and retaining diverse talent. And to that end, our efforts extend into the communities where we live and work as well. As you may be aware, in 2022, Kemper's philanthropic partner, the Kemper Foundation, launched our Next Generation Kemper Scholars Program, where we announced a multi-year $4.5 million commitment that will award 650 scholarships to high-achieving diverse college students at 10 partner schools. That includes Notre Dame as well. It also includes 6 historically black colleges and universities and Hispanic serving institutions. The program also provides financial grants to professors pursuing academic initiatives and to on-campus diversity programs. We're excited to serve as co-sponsor with KPMG, who help their multi-industry clients understand the changing demographic landscape and social climates across the globe. Students, our hope is that you will learn more about financial inclusion, as well as exclusion, related to the underserved markets, and ways to develop solutions to help empower communities that haven't historically benefited from services and products that could positively impact their lives. However, it is even more important to understand the barriers and challenges that have historically caused hesitancy and reluctancy. My fellow Kemper colleague, Emily Smyers, who has joined me today, and I look forward to networking with all of you, and our company leaders look forward to partnering with you throughout the CASE competition. Best wishes on a great competition, and thanks again for an opportunity to partner.
Thanks for that, Ron. Next, we'll be introducing KPMG. My name is Wasim Tabata. I'm a senior at the University of Notre Dame in Mendoza. I'm currently a business analytics major. I'm a representative of the Black Business Association as its president, and I serve on a couple other boards, including the Muslim Student Association and the Student Voice for Palestine organization as treasurer. Today I'll be introducing Christina Kaminsky, who's the managing director at KPMG. KPMG's mission is to turn knowledge and understanding of information, industries, and business trends into value for its firm's clients, its people, and the capital markets by offering professional services. And I'll be turning it over to Christina to talk a little bit more about KPMG's efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion space. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of KPMG, I am so proud to be here with you today. We were excited to be sponsors of the CASE competition last year in its inaugural year and to see the growth this year, just in the second year. We're excited what this is doing for this topic, for Mendoza, and excited to see where the CASE competition goes. I wanted to direct my comments today. I'll talk about KPMG, but I wanted to start with a personal story for the students that are involved in the CASE competition. I'm a Notre Dame alum. I graduated in 2008 undergrad with an accounting degree and then did my master's in accountancy with Mendoza as well, graduating in 2009. And when I did my internship with KPMG, I was blessed to be included in a program that was a global internship. So I spent 4 weeks in Chicago, 4 weeks in London. And while I was in London, sitting at a beautiful pub in the middle of the city, I was exchanging emails with my other Notre Dame friends that were also doing internships. I had a friend who was building houses in Uganda, a friend who was doing an internship working at an orphanage in Honduras, a friend working in the inner cities of Baltimore, and I think this is pretty common for Notre Dame students. We do so many incredible things at this university, and I, sitting working in a business internship on the other side of the world, felt a little guilty. What impact am I making as an accounting intern, as a business student? My friends are doing very tangible things, working one-on-one with people in underserved, underprivileged places, and I'm in London. And I did a lot of self-reflecting that summer on what it meant to work in business. I actually called my mom, who I always call when I'm having moments of doubt, and we talked about the role that business plays in the world. You can do a lot of amazing things, working one-on-one in communities, one-on-one with people, but you can do really incredible things through business. At KPMG, we work with some of the biggest organizations in the world. We ourselves are one of the biggest companies in the world. We have hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. So when we talk about diversity and equity and inclusion to our clients and to our people, that impact is huge. And I want to encourage all the students at Mendoza to really understand the power you have as future business leaders on this topic. You can make change in a lot of different ways, and doing it through business has a ripple effect that you don't even understand, but you will when you get out in the business world. So I'm really excited for the CASE. CASEs, to me, are the best way to learn, because once you get out into the working world, you will realize there are no exams with right and wrong answers. There's only ideas. And problems that have ideas that you need to think how to execute. So that's really why I think the CASE itself, particularly as Kemper talked about, serving underserved markets, is an incredible way for you to exercise those critical thinking skills and challenge yourself for how business can really make an impact. Again, we're really proud to be here, excited to support all of you along the journey, and thank you again to Mendoza for putting on this fantastic case competition. Thank you.
So thank you, Christina. My name is Kanyume, and I'm an MBA candidate, class of 2024, and my major is in business analytics. So today, I'll be introducing Giselle Mota, who is the Chief of Production Inclusion at ADP. ADP is a comprehensive global provider of cloud-based human capital management solutions that unite HR, payroll, talent, time, tax, and benefits administration, and a leader in the business outsourcing services, analytics, and compliance expertise. So join me as I welcome Giselle to give us more information about ADP's effort in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Giselle Mota. I am, as she said, the Chief of Product Inclusion at ADP. ADP is a human capital management company, and you all probably use systems for payroll and to do your time and benefits, and that's what we do. I want to talk to you, though, in terms of quick timelines. I want to start with this week alone. This week alone, it's Black History Month, right? I've heard a lot of people approach me and say many different things, whether it's from their race and ethnicity, that experience, their gender, et cetera. So a couple of stories that I want to share with you of where we are in 2023. So this week alone, some employers, an individual who is non-binary, was sharing her frustration, or their frustration, I must say, their frustration on how employers were surveyed and asked, what happens when you see people's pronouns on their resumes? And these employers came back and said, well, when I see pronouns on a resume, they might have good qualifications, they might be great candidates, but I don't want to deal with that drama, so we reject those resumes and we cast them away. This is an anonymous survey, and it was published in a magazine this week, in a business magazine, that you could probably Google this and read all the interviews yourself. Others said, yeah, this is meant for society and social interactions, not so much for the workplace, so we don't want to see those type of things. We don't want to see that. So people are making hiring decisions based on someone's personal pronouns and what they prefer to be called. This week alone, again, another individual approached me who is a woman, a Black woman in tech. Tech, you know, is a space that's dominated by a really homogenous group of people, but she's a Black woman in tech. She's a leader. She's doing amazing things in her space, and she approached me personally and said, Giselle, I don't know what to do. She's not with our company. It's a large tech company. And she said, I don't know what to do, but I've been having to take screenshots. And I want to show this to you, but I'm having to engage lawyers. I'm taking screenshots because images of blackface and cartoons are being shared throughout my organization on meetings where I'm in. I'm the only person that looks like me in these meetings, and I don't know what to do. Someone else approached me as well this very same week, and they were describing to me how they continue to be the subject of kind of like targeting within their team other people of color, and they're saying that they have an ethnic kind of a name, all right, that's a little bit hard to pronounce here and there, but their manager refuses to learn their name and continues to call them by a whole nother name that is not even relevant or close to their name. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because this is where we are right now, still in 2023. 2 years ago, with everything happening in the country and around the world, with George Floyd and just the socioeconomic differences that were happening with the pandemic and how all of that was surfaced, ADP, I took a step back. I was the principal consultant for the future of work. So I was talking about artificial intelligence, data, science, machine learning, like all these tools, and how do we use it towards human capital management. But I took a pause and a self-reflection, and I asked myself, what am I doing with my time? How am I using my skill set, my experience, and my impact to help other organizations of our clients? Our clients are small business, mid-market, and your global enterprise solutions, multinational companies around the world. Our company per se alone, we are a global company with 60,000+ employees around the world, and we're here serving from hire to retire the technology that people use at work. And so we deal with a lot of data. And the data about individuals, their gender, their race, their ethnicity, their age, all of this information, we have it. In fact, we have 30 million employees or clients as well, so you can imagine the amount of data we have. So I took a step back and I asked, well, in that lens, what can we do? So I built a business case. And for the first time ever, ADP created the role of Chief of Product Inclusion, which means that we're now dedicated to ensuring that whatever products we put out, we're going to create inclusion in the experience, and that we're going to help empower our employers or our clients to be inclusive in their experiences, whether that's identifying bias through data sets and machine learning and artificial intelligence and surfing that up to clients so they can see where their gaps are and how they can improve that, whether that's helping them to see how they can do career mobility and performance, hire more people from diverse markets, et cetera. So I'm here today as a personal, in my personal role, but also as a company. It's our dedicated effort to make a change in a space that hasn't made a change like that ever before. I hope that maybe some of you all in the future will come join ADP. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have your voices because this is what we're dedicated to. 70-plus year company, old company, is now making a shift and a pivot to something as innovative and as relevant as this. I'm super excited to hear your cases today, everyone who's here today, so we would love to have you in the future, and any ways that we can help, we're here. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Kenzie Thielen. I am in the Masters of Nonprofit Administration program, and I serve as our Vice President of the Student Association. I am introducing Andrea Short, President and CEO of First Source Bank. It was founded in 1863 in South Bend, Indiana. First Source Bank is the largest locally controlled financial institution headquartered in the northern Indiana, southwestern Michigan area. And I'm going to turn it over to hear a little bit more about DE&I efforts at First Source Bank.
Thanks, Kenzie. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank the University of Notre Dame and the Mendoza College of Business for putting on this event and sponsoring this case event. So we're thrilled with what you're doing in your DEI arena, and I've been enjoying hearing what I'm hearing from the other companies too. So far I think I'm the smallest company to present, and we are headquartered locally, so I think that's makes us a little special. So no offense. So. And I'm an accountant, so I got by training initially before I moved over to the president's side. I came up through the CFO rank, so my heart's a little special there too. But at any rate, so at First Source, what are we doing for DEI, right? And I think it really comes back to just who we are and what is our mission, and what culture are we setting there. So First Source, our mission is to help our clients achieve security, build wealth, realize their dreams. And we try to do that by offering straight talk and sound advice, keeping their best interests in mind for the long run. And that applies not only to our clients, which is very applicable to this case. Like we saw what the case was and we were like, oh, this is great. And I could tell you some of the stuff we're doing, but I'm not going to tell you everything we're doing because I think some of the stuff, hopefully you're going to find out other ideas, or some of the stuff we're doing I think may even come out as some of your ideas. I'm hopeful. So, but at any rate, so it's not only our clients, but it's also our employees, and how are we serving our employees, and how are we keeping their best interests in mind. And so at First Source, we are looking at all employees and trying to, what my goal in DEI is that it just becomes who we are, and that in the long run, we aren't even doing these case competitions because it's not necessary. And are we there? Oh, no, right? And you heard, we got a long way to go. But that's really my goal in the long run. And so we want that also to be what we're about at First Source. So what specifically have we done in just the last couple years? We have gone through unconscious bias training for all employees, go through it, everybody. So we've got 1,150 employees or so. Everybody went through training initially, and then we keep it going, and there's ongoing sessions so that people are not only dealing with conscious biases, but what are their unconscious biases. We're going and following up on that. We have book clubs, we have TED Talks that we're sponsoring, there's things there. The other piece of DEI is an awareness. It's an awareness of looking through when we're doing training, and when are we giving, do we have a broad spectrum of who is being trained? Because if we want leaders to grow up and to people who are leading organizations to look like the communities that we serve, which is really what our goal is at First Source. We think that we are a reflection of those communities that we serve. If we want people to be out serving those communities, we need to reflect those communities, and we're in a variety of communities. So it starts with getting people trained, giving everybody those opportunities. I think the other thing I wanted to just mention is that we are also doing a lot of, we have a conscious effort in some items that we are measuring just to make sure it happens, right? So you got to inspect what you expect. So we are working through development plans as part of that training and getting people trained. So as I said, we are very excited about this case. We're proud to be here as the local bank in the South Bend, Notre Dame area. So we're proud to be part of this event and very excited to look forward to what you're finding on your cases. So thank you for letting us be here.
Great morning, everyone. My name is Bernice Eintwine. I'm studying business analytics as a first year. Here I'm representing the Caribbean Students Association, Black Capital at ND, and the Black Business Association. I have the absolute honor of introducing Jessica McManus Warnell, Rex and Alex A. Martin, Faculty Director of the Notre Dame Deloitte Center for Ethical Leadership and Teaching Professor. The Notre Dame Deloitte Center for Ethical Leadership, founded in partnership between Notre Dame and the professional services firm Deloitte, connects innovative academic research with best practices and insights from businesses to advance ethical leadership. I am beyond excited to hear her contribution on the Center for Ethical Leadership that promotes diversity and inclusion. Welcoming you to the stage.
Thanks very much. Good morning, and again, thanks to our Associate Dean for her passion and commitment to this space. Having been at Notre Dame for a long time, I am just beyond excited about the past couple years, and a lot of it is because of her leadership and commitment. So thanks to the team for bringing us together, certainly to our corporate sponsors for the insights and expertise that you bring to the table, and of course to our wonderful students, because that's why we're all here, and we're appreciative of your willingness to kind of go on a journey with us. Ooh, sorry, I should be a pro at this, and I'm not, clearly. So, teaching students is a passion for everybody in front of you, right? And we're in the business at Mendoza of trying to figure out what are the best practices in our companies, and what does the academic research tell us about what works, right? The research and business and practice are pretty clear that diverse, equitable, and inclusive businesses, companies, communities at large, they flourish when they are, have that commitment, right? The research is clear, the data from practice is clear. So the question might be, why are we still in a space where we don't have inclusive environments across the board, right? And as a professor, I could talk for way too long about my opinion on why that's the case, but for our purposes, I'm looking forward to seeing what the students come up with, because I know you'll have some great ideas. We're still in this space. There was research out from McKinsey just in 2022 about really across the board inequities in financial services, access, approval rates, the types of products that are being offered. And so there's this gap between what we know works and what's happening in practice, right? So I think one place to think about beginning is just bringing more stakeholder voices to the table when decisions are made, right? I really appreciated the idea that business leaders have a voice in this space, and thanks to all of you for being, sharing your voice with us and our students. We need to learn from ethical leaders, equip more of them to be, out there in practice. Because of course, again, these communities that are diverse and inclusive allow all of us to flourish. And if not, we're not all flourishing. If we're not honoring the dignity, of each person in the way that our decisions are made at every level of society, none of us is doing the best that we can. So at our Notre Dame Deloitte Center for Ethical Leadership, again, our mission is to bring together best practices in companies and academic research, because we acknowledge that, decision-making at the corporate level has tremendous potential for impact. Our task is also, again, to work with wonderful young people, and we hope equip them with the competencies and the sensibilities and the tools that they can use to go on and lead more inclusive organizations. So we're pleased to be supporting the event and look forward to our time together. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail Jaber. I am a Master of Science in Finance candidate as well as the DE&I liaison for the MS Finance Association. And today I am excited to introduce Taryn McFarlane with the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. So the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership is a collaboration of the economic development partners from 47 smart connected communities in northern Indiana and southwest Michigan. So let's hand it over now to Taryn to tell us about the Southwest Elkhart DE&I efforts.
Thank you, Abigail. Okay, this feels very fancy for a Friday morning, just gonna say it. So thank you all. We just call ourselves a regional partnership. We just shorten it up. South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. It's Marshall County, Elkhart County, St. Joe County, Cass, and Berrien County in Michigan. And the reason for that is because that's really a region. That's really where people live, work, and play, right? And it doesn't really matter about the state boundaries or the county boundaries, but that's sort of a regional identity. And when I first moved here in 2008 and people were talking about Michiana, I did not know what they were talking about. So just saying. So there's been a slight shift there, but love the place, love the region. And I'll just do a little bit of background on myself, and then I'll talk a little bit about our DEI and efforts. So I too am an MBA graduate. I went to University of Michigan. But I remember being an MBA student, and I also got my policy degree at the same time, because what I cared about was how do you solve big problems? How do you make change at a really macro level? I'm a problem solver by nature. I played chess since I was like 5, so I'm all about how do you lay out the groundwork? What does that look like? And to me, the biggest problem and the biggest question that has driven my entire career is how do we make sure that economic prosperity happens for everyone? Because the game is stacked, and the rules are not fair, and the field starting lines are different. And that is the question of my career. So I've done all sorts of things, which I'm happy to talk to you all about. And I've always worked at really small companies, even though I went and got an MBA, because small companies are nimble and they can make change. But small companies with spheres of influence can certainly make a big difference. So to me, the question is how is business doing good to help with economic prosperity and asset building? How are public partners engaged in that conversation? Educational partners like this love to be part of this case competition. And then how are the rules of the games played? What is the federal legislation? What is the state legislation? What are the policy influencers that guide how business is designed, that guide how people access wealth, that guide where people keep their wealth and how they grow their wealth? So that has everything to do with everything. So in my role, I get to think about housing and redlining. I get to think about career pathways and degrees and competencies. And I get to think about how employers are engaging in those questions. And I get to think about how our civic partners are engaging in those questions. What are they doing? How are they setting the table as well? So that is sort of big picture what we do. So we are all of 10 people, maybe 12 now, we just hired. And we're a 501c3. So for those of you who are into that stuff, that means we're kind of an advocacy organization. But our primary partners are higher ed and business. So we work with chambers, we work with many of the businesses in this room. And we really are in a conversation with them about their career pathways, their drivers for economic prosperity, and talent. Okay, talent is exactly what Giselle was talking about earlier. How are people engaged? How are people working? And how are communities supporting people who are here? We care about talent attraction. How did I get convinced to come here? And talent retention. How did I get convinced to stay here? What is our regional makeup? And that has everything to do with inclusion and belonging. So everything that businesses are doing around helping employees feel included and belonging, and everything that regions are doing about that. You may have a great fit at your company and hate where you live. You're going to figure out how to transfer, or you're going to ditch that company. Or you really want to live here and you're not finding a good home professionally. And then you're really torn. And maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have kids. And that dichotomy is really hard. And to show up every day at work and work through that dichotomy takes an emotional toll, takes mental productivity time away. So those are the questions that our organization is engaged in. We do it by convening, cajoling, nudging, sharing research, problem solving, all of those things. So for us, this case competition is fantastic. We love it, particularly as it relates to financial inclusion. If you think about economic prosperity, people often think about income. How much money are you going to make? It's only one part of the equation. How are you building assets? What are you doing around home ownership? What are you doing about your 401k? What are you doing about all of the things that equal your overall net worth? These are big, fancy financial words, which I learned when I went to MBA school. Most people don't get that opportunity. They're just living that in their lives, and they're trying to figure out, how do I make this work for me? And how come my parents were able to afford a house and I can't? How come I have so much student debt and I didn't before? How come my kids are going to have massive student debt that I didn't have? How come I'm still doing the same crap job that 3 generations ago people in my family did, right? This is what people are living through. So financial inclusion is a tool, it's a strategy and a tool around how do you get people connected and how can they build assets. Because you can have the most phenomenal income, but if you don't have a good place to park that income, it's not going to help you. If we're talking about the racial wealth gap or the home ownership gap, financial inclusion is essential to that. So I'm super excited for this case. I could nerd out on all the data 24/7. But in reality, we're just glad to be a partner in this room and really excited for all of the excellence here. And again, all of my corporate partners who are engaged in this conversation as well. It's great. So thank you. Look forward to talking more.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Marico. I am a Master of Science in Accountancy candidate in the class of 2024 and the Senior Vice President of Communications for my Specialized Masters Association. Today, I'm introducing Becky Beckman, Principal and Director of Marketing at Gibson Insurance. Gibson is an independent insurance broker, advisor, and consultant. Founded in Plymouth, Indiana, nearly 100 years ago, Gibson serves both local and national clients across 5 Midwestern and Southwestern offices. Without further ado, let's hear from Becky about Gibson's efforts in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I think we might officially, between me and you, Taryn, are the smallest here today, but in such great company, and like you said, it's a role that all of us have to play. So Gibson feels privileged to be a sponsor of the DE&I case competition again for the second year. We recognize the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion and creating a thriving and innovative workplace. As an employee-owned team of insurance advisors and consultants, the team at Gibson is driven by the relationships with our clients, our employees, and our communities. We value the work that comes with that and understand that diversity is a key driver of success. We hope that by sponsoring this event and investing in the next generation, it demonstrates our commitment to promoting and helping create a more inclusive and equitable world. We like to think at Gibson that DEI is more than just a buzzword or a set of policies, and that it's woven into the fabric of the company's culture and values. Our statement, our stance, or just in general, our culture in general reflects our commitment by making a priority to not only strive to create a workplace where employees feel valued and respected, where we have diverse perspectives that are actually integrated into the decision-making process, and where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Understanding financial exclusion in our community is key for several reasons, but really important to help us identify the needs and challenges faced by the underserved communities, so the insurance industry can help develop targeted products and services that meet the specific need of that population. Also, promoting financial inclusion and reducing financial exclusion is an important part of the industry's role in amplifying economic growth and development. By providing access to insurance and other financial services, as Taryn mentioned, brokers can help reduce poverty, promote economic empowerment, and improve the overall quality of life for all the underserved. We all have a part to play, and we're excited to hear what the students will bring us over the next couple of months. Good luck to all of you, and thanks for letting us sponsor this event.
Thank you again to all of our sponsors for your fantastic leadership and participation here. And now let's talk a little bit about our case for this year. So, back to our slides here. Okay. So, as we've already mentioned, our case for this year focuses on financial inclusion. So financial inclusion, or sometimes called inclusive finance, refers to equitable access to basic financial products and services for everyone in the economy. Right, so when we have financial exclusion, or not financial inclusion, it disproportionately impacts traditionally underserved markets, including the poor, people of color, and women. When individuals are able to make better financial decisions for themselves, this enables and accelerates broad-based economic growth and resilience, improved financial health, job creation, and development. Financial inclusion also empowers people and communities and upholds the financial dignity of every individual. Right, and there are many instances where this manifests itself, but some examples where we don't often see financial inclusion includes saving for retirement, access to life insurance, use of banking services, predatory lending, and access to fintech. So here what I have on the screen is our prompt for the 2023 case. Right, and I've got some bolded statements here that really focus on what we're trying to achieve here. So we're trying to devise a way to improve access to and quality of financial services in underserved markets. And although there's a lot that's already been done in policy and regulation, what we're really looking for is a strategy that draws on the business acumen that our students have developed while in Mendoza. Right, and of course we want you to think innovatively, but do not ignore the affordability and feasibility of these solutions, because they will likely generate important outcomes and impact for businesses and communities. So let's get into some of the details regarding the competition. So as you may know, if you've taken a look at our website so far, we do have 3 rounds of the competition, and we expect students to participate in teams. So we're encouraging students to register teams of 2 to 4 Mendoza students. Students are permitted to have up to 1 member on their team outside of the Mendoza College of Business. If you're a registered team already, case materials are now available, and for those who are not yet registered, as soon as you register, they will be available to you. In this top right-hand corner, I have the 4 sets of materials that students will see when they register. So you'll see the case itself, instructions for the final deliverable. We have a sample final deliverable, and then the rubric that the judges will use for round 1. The final deliverable is a strategy document, right? And again, that sample is provided. And we encourage you to address that strategy document or memo to an actual organization, right? Depending on the type of financial service that you might have chosen, and consider, potentially addressing one of the sponsors, for example, in your strategy document. The deadline for round 1 is March 10th, right? So you can register as late as March 10th, as long as you also submit your final deliverable by March 10th at 11:59. And you'll do that through our competition website. Our judging will be conducted by a community of stakeholders within the Mendoza College of Business, and then we'll announce our top 10 teams on March 20th. Okay. Afterwards, after those top 10 teams are announced, we have a series of other events related to the competition, including our round 2 submission deadline, which will occur late in March. We'll announce our top 3 finalists early April, have some preparation to help those top 3 teams enter that final round, where we'll have our closing ceremony and presentations on April 21st. Here, of course, are the prizes that we are able to make available to our teams this year. And there's more information about these prizes on our website. For students participating in the competition, we hope that you find that there are many resources available to you. First and foremost, I hope you recognize that anyone affiliated with this competition is available as a resource, myself included, as well as our sponsors. And we hope throughout the networking event, you can create those relationships and networks to make that happen. I would also encourage our students to realize that we are on a campus full of thought leaders, right? It's a vibrant community where we have experts in this space, and we have other resources in this space, researchers and teachers, and so I would encourage you to take advantage across the University of Notre Dame of those resources that are available. And in addition, right, we also have on the website access to various asynchronous resources. Asynchronous meaning you can access them at any point in time, when you need to, the way that you want to, some videos, some articles, research, right, that you can also use ranging on the topics that I've listed here on this website. And in addition, we are proud to partner with 3 strategic sponsors in this case competition. And when we say strategic sponsors, what we refer to are other partners on campus that we believe can provide you excellent support as you participate in this event. So now I want to take a moment to hear from our strategic partners and sponsors, and I'd like to first start with some introductions.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel Fernelius. I'm a 2-year MBA candidate, class of 2024. Today, I'm introducing Jack O'Leary, the CEO of Jiffy, as well as Fares Asher, the Credit and Risk Management Division lead. The Jubilee Initiative for Financial Inclusion, aka Jiffy, is a nonprofit financial services provider operated in the South Bend community by students from the University of Notre Dame. Jiffy seeks to offer an alternative to the practice of predatory payday lending, which leads to poverty. They offer cash advances supplemented by tailored financial planning tools that help clients get ahead instead of falling behind. I will also be introducing today Amanda McKendry, Arthur F., and Mary J. O'Neill, Director of the Fanning Center for Business, Communication, and Associate Teaching Professor. The Eugene D. Fanning Center for Business and Communication assists members of the Notre Dame community in achieving their academic, intellectual, and professional goals by providing instruction and guidance on writing, speaking, and other dimensions of human communication. At the heart of this mission is a concern for the individual, a focus on ethics and integrity in business, and a commitment to advancing the college and the university. Now let's hear from the strategic sponsors and see how they will support the case competition and the participants.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jack O'Leary, and it's so great to be here. Honestly, an honor for Jiffy to be recognized with these other groups and these corporate sponsors. We were founded about 10 years ago, by undergraduates at Notre Dame, and to think we'd come this far by now is really amazing. So I'm excited to share Jiffy's work. I'm going to talk about really who Jiffy is and what we do, and then Fares will talk about how we care about and think about financial inclusion and DEI. So Jiffy stands for the Jubilee Initiative for Financial Inclusion. We were started in 2010 to 2012 area, not exactly sure, by a Notre Dame undergraduate who had gone on an SSLP to India and worked kind of on the area of dealing with people who were trying to take out credit from like loan sharks and trying to install into the areas he was in, like these savings programs, these savings groups, and these having opportunity for fair credit in these neighborhoods and regions of India. And he came home and he was really frustrated to see that this predatory lending was not something that was absent from more developed areas, specifically talking about predatory lenders through payday loans, or even what he saw with some like credit card debt for these people who might not have as much disposable savings. So really what he came up with was this model where Jiffy would offer an alternative to predatory lending through loans up to $500 at the lowest possible interest rate on flexible repayment schedules. And since then, Jiffy has been completely run by undergraduates. We are a 501c3. We have an advisory board, which includes Jessica, Professor McManus, and some First Source representatives as well. And we have tons of relationships across the South Bend community. Some other things that we do, we found a couple years back that 80% of our clients, if they had any savings at all, only had up to $25 saved. So we've started an incentivized savings program trying to connect people and incentivize people to start habitually saving. Specifically, some of our loan clients, we try to roll them over into this program where if they save with us for a period of time, we'll match with them 20% of what they save. And then we also teach financial literacy courses locally. But that's really what we do kind of on the ground. We're so happy to be here. Thank you all. I'm an arts and letters student, so thank you for letting me in the door. I'll hand it over to Ferris now.
Hi everyone, my name is Ferris Oshkar. I'm an associate within the Credit and Risk Division at Jiffy. I've been in Jiffy for 2 years now, and I really want to talk about the diversity and inclusion efforts that Jiffy has been working on, which at its core, Jiffy has always been working on diversity and inclusion, and we can see that firsthand in the Credit and Risk Division. Working with clients that have been completely shut out of traditional financial institutions, so the average client of Jiffy has a credit score of around 460, I believe. And we get to see firsthand how these people come to Jiffy as a lender of last resort. And we try to be as inclusive as possible within that process. We're trying to do our part in social justice and being able to assure that everyone has access to these basic financial needs. We believe that everyone should have these basic access to these financial services, and that's what we try to get. We go beyond just the simple loan and credit process with these clients. As Jack mentioned, we did start the Financial Empowerment Program in 2015 that has been teaching classes in high schools and in all centers in the South Bend community. And we also started community partnerships through our community relations divisions, where we try to go beyond just this loan aspect and try to promote inclusion within the South Bend community as a whole. So we're honored to be here as a strategic partner. We're really excited about this case competition, and if anyone's interested, we're open to undergrad and grad, and we recruit every fall. So really excited to be part of this. We're a really small organization, much smaller than any of the ones here today. So thank you very much for having us.
Good morning, everyone. The Fanning Center is pleased to be a strategic partner for the second year in the case competition. We view communication and DE&I as inextricably linked. On the individual level, it's often an individual's communication skills that allow you to participate in public processes and allow you to access the resources that you might need. On the organizational level, it's your communication skills that allow you to share the great work that you're doing in the DE&I space. I wanted to share just a couple of ways that we can be a resource for students during this case competition. And one is we invite you to participate in any programming or workshops that you may see offered across the course of the case competition. Many of them will focus on those topics that we saw on the earlier slide, but we would encourage you to participate in those and access those materials as you begin working through your ideas. Secondly, we encourage you to schedule a meeting with any Fanning Center faculty member, even if you're just starting to brainstorm ideas and try to find your area of focus as you get into the case materials. We're happy to sit down and meet with you and brainstorm ideas and help you begin to put a sense of structure around what will eventually become your strategy document. And then lastly, we are available to give you very specific feedback on your deliverable items, whether it's the actual strategy document or whether it's the presentation phase. So do see us as a resource. You can reach out to me as a primary contact, and I would be happy to work with you and also introduce you to some of our other Fanning Center faculty members. Thank you.
Our third strategic partner who was not able to be here today is Aperion Global. And the way that they are partnering with us for this case competition is they are granting all participants who are registered for the case competition free access to the Inclusive Behaviors Inventory. Right, so within a few days, registered participants will receive an email inviting them to take the survey. And as the slide from Aperion Global suggests, you will receive a personalized report that gives you feedback on your own inclusive behavior. We'll actually ask participants to take this inventory twice to see how your inclusive behaviors have potentially changed as a result of participating in this case competition. And we view this as a benefit as you are merging into the workplace, a benefit to better understand you as an inclusive leader. Okay, so at this point, we would like to open the floor up to any questions from our students about the case competition or any logistics that would be beneficial for the entire group to hear. I'm also available for questions afterwards as well. Yes?
You just mentioned that one student has to be from outside of Mendoza.
No, that is not a requirement. I've had a couple of questions over the last couple of days about whether students have to be in Mendoza to participate, and the answer is we are allowing up to one member to be outside of Mendoza, but of course all members of the team can be within Mendoza. Yes. I'll mention that we've had the registration open for about a week. We currently have 25 teams registered. And so obviously we're keeping it open for another month. We're really excited about the interest that we've received so far and the innovative ideas we'll get.
Kristen, I would just add to that, for spring intern, the week of March 6th, we have an additional 15 teams.
That's right.
Not including the 25 that have already.
So we're expecting upwards of 40 teams as well. Yep. Okay, so I will be available for any questions always, but in particular today, if for participants, if you're hanging around, which I hope you do. As we kind of finish up our formal remarks here, I do want to thank our case and our corporate sponsors for spending time with us today, for their support of the competition. I also want to thank our strategic partners. I also want to acknowledge that there are many faculty and staff within the College of Business who have made this possible, and I'm grateful to all of them. And so as we now send our students off to an opportunity to engage with our sponsors who are here with us today, I want to introduce Jessica Stuckey, who is an assistant director in Mendoza's Graduate Career Development. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. So I won't keep you too long because I know networking is the real appeal of this event, as lovely as all of the talks were and information. But I just wanted to speak to our students specifically for a moment. As much as this opportunity is open and available to ideas about the case or what the companies are looking for in potential solutions, I also want to encourage you to think more deeply about how you are going to incorporate DE&I into your future endeavors, whether you decide to work for one of the wonderful companies here or somewhere else. All of the people who came up and talked today shared a personal connection with their understanding of DE&I or their experience with DE&I. And I encourage you to use this opportunity to speak with them, not only about the case and the formal business opportunities, but what was their personal understanding, what was their experience. As you're evaluating companies or potential career paths, what are red flags you should be watching out for? Or what are signals that a company is really, truly investing in DE&I? So as much as I'm from career and I want you to find the best jobs, also just think about those personal aspects of what you can get out of these. And I feel like all of our sponsors were very open about their reflections and the things that they have learned. So keep that in mind as well, and not just stick to the case. So, thank you.